Maybe. There we go. Going live on the gram. Got about a 21-second delay.
That's a long delay.
It is a long delay. Good morning, everybody. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo. Coming to you on this beautiful Thursday.
It's kind of swampy down here. I don't know.
Is it?
It warmed up and it was like, ooh, we're swamp again. It's buggy, humid. This is on.
Good morning, James Milner. Thanks for joining us over on the gram. Good morning, Regalado Real Estate. See you over there too. Appreciate you guys joining us on this Thursday with Social Surge. I am Mo Regalado. Over there is Miss Fly Jamerson, and today we are talking about something that we have discussed and we helped promo a little bit. It is the DNA of CRE report. There's one for brokers. There's one for marketers. Of course, we are interested in both because we're nosy.
Well, we're nosy. We're 100%. We're nosy, but it's also like, look, like that's the data, man. Like that, there's a lot going on in there. And then just like quick, so last year you and I got really deep into it. I think we covered the results for about 10 episodes, and that was also, I mean, it was probably less, but it was also a time where we were really figuring out like how we were going to do Surge. So it's near and dear to our heart in multiple ways. But I'm really looking forward to Build Out and the Broker List are hosting today on Thursday, February 19th. Yesterday was my birthday. I don't know what day it is anymore.
Happy birthday.
Today at 1 p.m. Central Time. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific. They are having a webinar about the insights so I'm really interested to see what insights they're pulling away from it. I think that the more people that are looking at and talking about the results is that we're actually going to like find more, places to activate on that insight. And so that conversation is happening today. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I will drop the link to that also in the comments to this episode after it's done.
Yes, after it's done.
Yeah.
Don't ask us to do multiple things this morning because that's just not going to happen. Good morning, Holly Pennington. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking about the DNA of CRE results. Not all of them, but I think one of the things that was probably the best that we could see from this report is the fact that email, according to all of you, is still the way that you guys connect and stay active with your community, and it's how you transact the most. So as much as we talk about social media, email is still very, very valuable. And are you doing it correct? The show is called Your Deals Aren't Dying, Your Marketing Funnel Is, right? And we talk about this all the time. We talk about the fact that you have to have, so like when you work with Fly or when you work with me, we're not just talking about your social media presence. And there have been times when I have told prospects, you're not a good fit for us yet. There are certain things that you guys need to put in place first before we start talking about social media. And I think because social media is front and center and top of mind, so many people are like, I just got to get on social. I just got to get on
flashy. It's so shiny. They love it. They're like,
right.
Yum, yum, yum. Give me the impressions.
Yes. And that's what they're looking at. They're like, oh, I want to be like everybody else and sharing my stuff and getting recognition.
Which I love.
But the challenge is that if you don't have processes and systems in place to capture the data, right? To capture people into your CRM, being on social it's all well and good. But if you're not, if the bottom line is to not transact, like,
no, I love that. I love that because I do think that people, they don't, it's a part of a larger ecosystem. And when we look at the DNA of CRE report, like that, that's what I really like about being able to see all the data together, right? Because we get really siloed. We're like, oh yeah, man, like this. One of the biggest critiques, we don't actually talk about it very much, but because we don't, why give more space to the trolls? However, the main critique of people who have large followings on social media in this business are like, oh, but they're not actually transacting very much. You know what I mean? And so it's like, but I understand the sort of perception around that, because it's sort of like, you can get a really big following, you can get a huge following and like not get any results from it, because it's not being like, you're not aiming it to go like right through the marketing funnel so somebody will transact with you. So that's
you have the wrong audience.
Yeah,
or the audience that you've selected is completely incorrect. And I mean,
I need that on a stamp. Completely incorrect.
Well, I mean, it's all well and good if you have a large following, but if they're not transacting, if they're not dumping into your CRM, if there's not a funnel, if there's not some way for them to follow a path to do something with you, then honestly, it's just a lot of waste. And it seems funny that we're saying that, because it's like, oh, you're a social media marketing agency. Yes, but we're also, let's build your friggin' business up so you can make money, company.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, the way I've used this analogy a couple of times before, and I figured out now that I'm like a Mustang girl, so I'm going to be getting into the cars here. But I had a conversation with a pretty well-established broker, has market share in his, in where he's transacting, does not have a strong social media presence, but also does not have a strong system internally for like conventional prospecting, right? And conventional prospecting right now, I mean, if you just like look at, all the stuff that's popping off inside of Topher's, CRE AI studio, like they're very focused on, using AI for prospecting and market analysis specifically. Anyway, but there's two things that this broker was looking at. He's like, well, I need to get my social figured out. I need to get the front door or the curb appeal of my, business on the internet figured out. But I also need to figure out this other piece too. And I was like, man, don't spend money and time on a new paint job if the engine isn't running. Right? And that's the biggest thing for me, because it's like, if you don't have the internal systems and processes, if you don't have the funnel defined, if you don't have a way to do business that is entirely like unreliant on some of these other pieces, right? Like it's just like, it's a sequencing issue, but people jump at the flash, right? And so I told them, like, I don't want to do business with you right now because you don't have this figured out. And what's going to happen is you're going to start getting so much attention there that you're going to continue to be pulled away from the thing inside of your business that is going to help you make sure that the top of funnel marketing is targeted correctly.
Right. No, I mean, that's exactly it. And I'm gonna trot out Mr. Bob Knackle, and I'm gonna talk about the fact that one of the things that I've talked with him is like, it's all well and good that we have these impressions, it's all well and good that we have these followers, but we want these people to transact with you. We want these people to, whether they're investors or they're building buyers, they're, or sellers, I should say. We want them to transact with you, but we need to get these people into a funnel. And so some of the initiatives that we've had, including setting up landing pages to get on the list to get a baseball card, to get the PDF for the ultimate guide, right? That's all part
of that. Okay.
The ultimate guide.
Yeah. Is there a book of it?
There's a book, but it only goes. It only goes to developers, and it only goes to clients. It is, from what I've seen, it's gorgeous. Like it's a tomb, right? It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Anyway.
No, not anyway, because I need one of you clowns to put it on eBay. Okay. I have like eBay alerts set up, because some of these hats back here, y'all, They are sweet, sweet vintage. And like, I check it every day. I'm like, did any Bob Knackle merch get like did the legacy Knackle Massey umbrella finally make it onto eBay? You guys don't understand how much I would pay for that. All right.
You could just literally ask BK. I think he still has some umbrellas.
I know. I try not to bother the man.
I will bother him for you. I'll be like, hey,
look, listen, PSA, guys, if you have a big box of merch that's just like sitting in a closet that you feel bad that you spent money on, 225-270-2061, baby. You send me a pic of that. Let's just like cut out the middleman, okay? I don't need to pay eBay any fees. Just, off market deals, baby. All right.
Off-market merch deals.
Yes, I'm not kidding.
So email obviously is how deals get done, right? So we're talking about email, we're talking about social media. And social media is where people decide if they're going to like, know, and trust you, right? Because this is how you're showing up first. But email is how that connection, that relationship is going to get solidified, or DM too. And that's where they're really going to decide if they're going to answer your call, where they're going to decide if they're going to transact with you, because you have this entire system that's been built together, and you are the same person online as you are in real life, as you are in email, as you are on the phone. I think that is so important for people to recognize. If you start your social media journey, I know, I can't believe I use I like it pisses me off that these are words that we would use, but like now I can't use them because I'm like,
But I know I could feel how your like esophagus just like clenched a little bit so you didn't puke while you said it. Yeah, I do that all the time. Don't worry. It's a very visceral experience. Well, here's the thing, okay? What you just said, to be yourself in your email. And I am aware of and know that there are a lot of people who are like the automated drip campaigns. So yummy. They love them. And I'm just like, yeah, that's really tough if like, the guy that you're trying to transact with has, a Yahoo email address from 1996 and like gets all those emails all the time anyway. Like, you need to be real with that dude. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. And it's that, inside of the funnel, something that you said to me before is like, that middle layer, that's the conversion layer, right? And so it's like social media, inviting people in, right? Mm-hmm. And then email layer is where that's where the
transaction's going to take place. And it's because they've been watching you on social for 6 months, right? It's because they've seen how successful you are. You shared podcasts, you've shared publications that you've been in, which actually that is a great, I've had quite a few clients ask me, Mo, how do I get Commercial Observer? How do I get CoStar? How do I get Biz Now? How do I get into their magazines where they're calling me and quoting me? And I don't have the answer for that other than call people up, find the reporters, start engaging with them on social media, add meaningful commentary, hop into their DMs, not as a cold DM, after you've already after you've already engaged on social and had this meaningful interaction. And then the last but not least is when they email you, when they call you because they need a quote, you need to respond right away. You can't wait 12 hours because they had to go to press like within 3 hours of contacting you. So it's a very, very fast relationship when it happens.
Yeah, that's really it. Sorry.
You don't sit. No, you're fine. You don't sit on a soundbite, right? You don't sit on it because it has to go out right away. That is the nature of news, and that is the nature of reporting. So just keep that in mind. But back to the DNA of CRE. Again, they are having a webinar this afternoon at 1 p.m. Central. You can probably find that on the broker list. I would assume it would be on their website as well as Build Out. Mm-hmm. I don't know what platform it is. I'll have to go into email and check really quick.
I think it might be internal. I think when I clicked on the register link, it's I just always allow all the cookies because I just, yum. I don't know. I can't tell what it's taking place. You have to like register a thingy thing. Okay. But I'll report back. But yeah, you have to, don't worry.
She'll add the registration link. And it's Build Out and the broker list, Linda Day Harrison. will be they'll be providing that information.
Yeah,
so
their webinar is called What the Top 10% Are Doing Differently. I love that.
That's great.
I love
that. Is a really good. So you want to be in the top 10%. This is what you need to do.
There you go.
So the report, as we're talking about email, 88% of CRE marketers are still using email marketing, which is important. We talk about this all the time. So you have your top of funnel, which is social, and then you have website/email. To get them into your email list or your CRM, you have to provide something of value. And then, of course, the very bottom of the funnel is the fact that now they are in your email, and now you can have all of these touches. Yeah. You have to have multiple touches. I think Allison Weiss shared with us, it was like 7-11.
Oh gosh, let me just look it up. I know exactly.
There's so many touches that you have to have before somebody will either like, no, trust you, transact with you, whatever. The top content that they're sharing through email is OMs, newsletters, and deal emails. Ben Nolte series joined us over on the gram. Good morning, Ben.
What's up, Ben?
We are talking about the DNA of CRE results, and kind of the top thing is that email is still the king of getting everybody to know you, but social media opens that door. And platform effectiveness is shifting toward Instagram and TikTok, which I find interesting. Now with TikTok having a US presence, it's a 7-member board with Oracle at the top. And after they switched hands, this might not be relevant to some of you, and some of you might not even know what I'm talking about. But once TikTok was taken over by Oracle, there were server issues. There were a bunch of different issues. And here's the other thing. Now, everything that applied to all the social media platforms in the United States that are here, like actually here in the US, it now applies to TikTok, which like surprised the hell out of a lot of people. And I'm like, no, there's like federal communication guidelines and federal trade guidelines. So the FTC and the FCC have rules that you were supposed to follow, but because TikTok was owned by a company in China, that was kind of like,
yeah. Oh no, it's interesting.
There's a whole thing about that, right? Where you had all these TikTokers like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to say it's a sponsored post. You're in the United States now, lady. Lady.
Marcy Moneypenny has a question in the comments, but let's bring that up. But I want to come back to this discussion about TikTok and as it relates to the report. But let's check this out.
Oh, hold on, I'll put it back. So many brokers are part of firms that require you use the firm's CRM. And when you post on social media, it has to be under the firm's umbrella. How would you direct them? So first and foremost, when I am dealing with clients that have strong branding, is what I'll say. Strong branding.
That was very wow. That was good. That was a good political. Nice. Restraint. Strong branding.
You should look at Ben's comment on Instagram. Oh, that's actually funny. Yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
I wish the comments on the Instagram stayed. Anyway.
Mortgage Pro Meta. Thanks for joining us over on the gram. We were talking about the DNA of CRE report, but right now we're talking about Marcy Moneypenny's comment about when you're dealing with Lindsay Barden. Yes, say it. You guys are bad this morning. You guys are bad.
Mo, your word of the year is bold. I'm not going to let anybody forget this. I know that it's February 19th, but like we started really strong. Okay. Strong branding. How do you direct them when there are this?
Yes. So first and foremost, find out what your company's social media policy is. A lot of times, most companies do not have a stated social media policy. If they do not have a stated social media policy, fabulous. We will make sure that we still deal with everything above the board that is very professional. If they do have a stated social media guideline or policy, you need to take a look at it. What can we say? What can we not say? What can we do? What can we not do? And as long as you work within those parameters, you should be fine and nobody should have an issue with it. However, there are marketing departments, there are marketing directors who feel like they need to have their hands into everything that goes out. When it comes to the CRM, there are things that you can request, right? I don't, why not ask? The worst that they can tell you is no, right? And so when it comes to, you know, if you can, you have your own landing page for them to subscribe to an email newsletter? Do you have, like, is there an issue with you putting out a market report? Like, say you are in a very particular region. Does your region have an email newsletter? If you don't have a newsletter talking about market data, market stats, market information, things that are going on, why not? And is it lack of resources? Is it because the marketing person is already inundated with, and that's another, like, that's an entirely different topic.
Yeah, you want to know what? I had a client who, before we were working together, I had a client who, within their company, what happened was they didn't have a social media policy, and then somebody did something really stupid. And so they like went to, you know, at the time, ChatGPT, and that, you know, and they're probably still doing reaction. Yeah. And then they're like, write a social media policy so that this never happens again. And then, like, I said to the marketing director, I'm like, you realize how much more work you just created for yourself by doing this. And so what problem are you actually trying to solve? Because all the other people that are acting well and are activating it correctly and are being good brand ambassadors of the company, now you've just put a chokehold on them.
Correct.
And yourself, because you don't have time to look at everybody's stuff. And so, you know, so as a sidebar, like, you know, if you are in, we should do a social media policy from the marketing perspective, like webinar thing, right? We got to do that for brokerages. But but to go back to the CRM, look, you can't, depending on the kind of firm that you're with, like you're not going to change it. You can't change it, because it's like they're all the reason that they have that is like going to be legacy and complicated, and there's relationships and there's contracts and just like so figure out what you actually need, and then figure out what's possible. I love what you said about going to them and like working with them. And honestly, they should, because for a lot of this stuff, if they have a CRM, first of all, to begin with, right? Like they're paying a lot of money for it, and they're probably not getting as much value as they could out of it, especially if you don't find it to be conducive. And so hook up with the people who are responsible for managing that. Hook up with like somebody from the actual like you know, account team from the software, right? And like get a training. I mean, that's how, you know, you guys are helping me, right? Like giving me a lot of access to the trainings and stuff in our specific CRM.
Right.
So we can activate it, right? Like make it work for you. You just got to be, you know, realistic about what you can change.
100%. So Marcy, I think the biggest thing that they can do if they're in a big brokerage is they can go find out what they can do and then work within those parameters. Unfortunately, so many people don't even want to go and do that or have those questions. I do have clients that are asking those questions. They are going to the marketing departments. They are talking to their CEOs and saying, hey, you know, we're being told that we need to be indexable, searchable, and discoverable, and we don't have a blog on our website. We're not sending out emails that are about market data. We're almost non-existent when it comes to our search engine presence, our answer engine presence, even just what you can find about us online when you Google our name. And that's an issue. And companies are not, this could be a
mad. Oh, guys, just getting mad.
Well, like this
teasing.
No, this is an issue, right? This is an issue that higher up management is not looking at the fact, like, yes, we have the CBREs, we have the JLLs, we have these big companies, right? But I don't give two craps about that. I'm talking about the individual broker, right? Yeah. What are you supplying to the individual broker so they can plant their flag, so that they can have a name? Social helps, But if we don't have those other pieces, such as a personalized landing page, where if they write a white paper, now their audience, their people who they're trying to transact with and make your company money can get that white paper.
Yep.
Right? So, if we could have a discussion with those big brokerage firms and going, what are you doing to get your people found? That would be huge. However, to your point, Marcy, they need to talk to the marketing department. And the next thing, Regalata Real Estate on Instagram says, but they have a website. That should be enough. And then he did the rolling eye emoji.
Yeah. It's a lot. Go finish your sentence.
No, it's fine. Go. You're good.
No, we're going to come up on time pretty soon here. So let's, but these are the kinds of discussions that come from having access to the data from something like, DNA of CRE report. So this afternoon, we're going to drop the link in the chat to the webinar being hosted by Build Out and the Broker List, our good friend Linda Day Harrison. So we're looking forward to getting the insights on what the top 10% are doing differently in commercial real estate, both brokers and marketers.
Yep.
One thing that I'm interested, to see this too, because, when you look at the data, I'm interested to compare it to my own anecdotal experiences, because TikTok to me is not my professional opinion is that TikTok for right now is out, but that's just me. And so I'm interested to dig into some of the data about that specifically and be like, okay, so what does that mean for if people are having a different experience of the platform? That means that there's ways it's being capitalized or I don't want to say manipulated. There's ways that it's being activated differently that's working for some people. And maybe it just works for some people, right? So it's interesting. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of spread. You know what I mean?
Right. I was actually surprised to see that too, that Instagram and TikTok are making huge waves.
Instagram, I believe. I think Instagram is coming back, but that's just me.
I think it depends on if you have, I constantly send you stuff. I'm constantly bombarding your feed with ooh, maybe we should try this or we should try this.
Don't I do that to you too? Come on. Come on. No, don't feel bad about it.
But it also depends on who the client is and what their aesthetic is. And when I look at Instagram and I think about, I think about the aesthetics of how people are showing up on there, and it is changing. So there's just a lot of stuff happening on Instagram right now that we could actually have an entire show on by itself.
Let's plan the rest of the shows for the next 6 weeks. I'm really busy. Let's do it. No, but so to your point though, it's about about the personal preferences of the person, right? Because we talk about that a lot, right? If you don't like being on Instagram, it's really not going to work for you. But then you sent something to me last night that I was just like, oh man, there's a whole part of the internet that I don't even know is there. And that's the other thing I think that people forget about sometimes is just there are these little pockets. Can you guess what it was? There's these teeny little pockets of things that are happening that are we don't even know that are there. And the reason that I know this for certain is that I didn't hear Bob Knackle's name until I was 34 years old. Right? I existed on this planet for literal decades and had no idea that any of you guys were here. Right? But so do you know what it is that you said to me that I'm just
yeah, what was it?
It was when you told me that there was some kind of link between Perplexity and Snapchat.
Oh,
yes. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then immediately I thought about Bucky Beeman and I was just and you want to know what? That cat rips it up. That cat has a huge presence in is it Rochester in Minnesota?
Yep.
it's like, yeah, it's like near there. And so, you know what I mean? And like that kid is not like, he's not a kid. That guy is on the news. Like he goes and he does the morning shows, and he like zero other people, to my knowledge, are activating Snapchat as their thing. And like that guy's killing it. And you want to know what? Nobody ever talks about him. You know what I mean? And because he's in his little, like, he's in his little pocket. And so I think also too, what, you know, I'm curious about the data, because again, and this is there's no way to track this right now, just with this particular data set, but it's like, if you're in a tertiary market and the majority of people are like using a certain platform, and usually it's Facebook, like that's going to be the place that's really working for you. And so if you're in a community of TikTokers that are transacting with each other, like, great. But it's that like, that's the stuff that I'm looking inside of the data set for. I'm just like, why is this here, and how can we explain it? Because your preferences about a platform that you use are going to be yours, but then it's also like maybe you should be on Snapchat anyway.
Yeah. So you brought up, I remember now. That was a Dory reference. So I was in Snapchat. I do not use Snapchat for business. I use it to connect, and because I'm OCD, I'm not OCD, but like I have to snap people every single day. And that's how my daughter and I communicate. But I happen to see that Perplexity. I was just looking and I was like, Perplexity, what the heck is going on? And I saw that Perplexity now lives inside of Snapchat, which is huge. That is huge to me. And when you click on the thing, it's like for you to be able to do research.
And the thing about Snapchat too is that like the location of from where you're snapping has always been very much a present part of that platform. And like you can tag locations and stuff and search locations on Instagram and like other places too. But it's different on Snapchat. And so I was never naturally a part of that ecosystem, mostly because I don't have very many friends in real life. And so I've just said that's why. So I was never, it just never did it. And so, but a couple, like, okay, Perplexity and Snapchat. One other thing I want to say that I hope, you know, I don't know if it'll be in this report, but it's something that we continue to see just in terms of like the indexability, is the Google My Business stuff. Because I read something, I think I read it on X yesterday, that with the impending, what Dwayne, I love it. Like I love it. Like you missed logging into the work meeting. Yeah. Guys, I'll be late to the Zoom, and this is the Zoom. Yeah. Anyway, the exchange of wealth, the wealth transfer that's going to happen when I'm sorry to be blunt, like when the people who are going to die next die and we get all the stuff, right? Like, I'm sorry, I'm tired. There's no other way to say that. That I know people have been talking about it for a long time, but somebody brought up the point yesterday in terms of like the generation who's going to own that property next is going to Google you first.
Yep.
They're not going to pick up your phone. They're going to look at your phone number. They're going to Google your phone number. And then what are they going to find?
Yep. 100%.
And that can make or break it.
Correct. 100%.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, and Ben Nolte said most of my target clients would be on Facebook and Instagram. If that's where your audience is, then that's where you need to be, right? It's just as simple as that. So I think practical things for you guys to do is you need to look at your marketing as a whole. 1, 2, you need to make sure that your email marketing is providing value so that people are actually opening your emails and reading your emails. Fly was probably talking about stupid people, Ben.
When am I not? I don't
know. The other thing that you need to do is with that email marketing, you can turn all of that content, and that's exactly what it is, into social media posts.
Yep.
And then say, hey, if you want the rest, this came from our monthly market newsletter. If you'd like more, DM me, right? It's just an ask. It's not anything else. And then you can ask for their email and get them into your CRM, whether it's your company's CRM or your personal CRM. And then you take all of that and now, so say your email is 4 different sections, that is now 4 separate social media posts.
Perfect.
And 5 being the announcement that you have a brand new newsletter coming out. These are the things that are going to be said in it. Or you take that newsletter, expand on it, and turn it into an article on LinkedIn. And now it's indexable, searchable, and discoverable by your generative engines. So that's your search engine and your answer engine. So I think I just gave you 6 pieces of social media proof that you could make from one piece of content.
Which, you're the best at that, by the way. You're just like, I love how your brain works, because I go like here, and you're like,
let's make it all. Let's. I mean, seriously, I took one. We took one podcast and made a year's worth of content for a client because that was all he supplied, and it worked. It worked.
And it worked. That's the thing about that. I love that. Okay, we got people texting us. We got to wrap it up. We got to go work.
We do have to work. So
sorry, guys.
You know, just as we wrap up, email is still the way that you close deals. Social media opens the door. Make sure that you have an actual marketing ecosystem in place where you are sending people. If you have to, and you don't have an email or you don't have something like that, and you work for a bigger brokerage firm, go talk to the marketing director, go talk to the people in charge and say, hey, how can we make this work? We need to be found. And that the onus is on you. And if you bring solutions instead of pointing out a problem, because the marketing director is going to be like, dude, I've already got all of this shit on my plate, and now you want me to create an email newsletter for you?
Oh God, it's gonna make him cry. It's gonna make him cry. I got one. I know this one marketing director she's got like 50 brokers after her for stuff, and she got nothing. She needs some help. Okay, we gotta go.
So bring solutions instead of just bringing and pointing out a problem, saying, hey, we're already pulling this data for our clients and we can put it all together and create a newsletter. What do we need to do to be able to send that out to our segmented list? And what do you need from us? How can we help you make this happen?
Yep.
That's how that, and if they say no, they say no. You still take that friggin' information and you go share it on social media.
Yeah. And maybe, have a conversation with, somebody who is interested in helping you out.
Well, there's always that. Hey, so don't forget, DNA of CRE, they're doing their webinar today. Fly is going to put the link in the comments. And then last but not least, we have to mention CREI Summit, February 28th. The LinkedIn list deadline is then. And we also need you guys to nominate. So if you don't plan on putting in for the list, but you want to nominate an influential woman in commercial real estate, add your nominations at the top. The best thing that you can do, fill out the entire form for yourself, right? So you can nominate an influential woman if you're a dude, and then fill out all the information for yourself. Don't worry about nominating somebody else, because that you have to get all their numbers, and there's like a whole bunch of stuff. Do you, babe. Okay, you do you, and then submit your stuff for the LinkedIn list. And
you got 9 days. You got 9 days to do it.
Got 9 days.
And if you don't, I am gonna call you. I'm not kidding. It's literally I will. Don't make me do that, guys. I'm busy.
I don't think I submitted myself last year. I might have. Anyway, I mean, I was busy. I was busy with everything. All right, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday.
Being an influential woman. Sorry.
I wasn't yeah. I was under the influence. Never mind. Wait, that's not right.
What? Okay.
Can we nominate multiple people for the same category? Ben, that's a great question. That's a good question.
Can we nominate multiple people for the same category? Yeah, why not? Just open up a new form. Just open up a new form submission.
There you go. Boom. Done.
I can't imagine why you wouldn't be able to do that. Okay. All right. I don't know. Try it. If it doesn't work, call me.
Yes. You know where she's at.
My number on the stream. And 0 people have responded. They're keeping it from me. Okay, goodbye. We need to leave.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday with Social Surge with Fly and Mo.